Coming up, presidential candidate Andrew Yang visits the IMU. And later, the United Kingdom finally decides to leave the European Union.
The good news is both basketball teams play tonight. The bad news, they're on the East Coast. I got the preview for you in sports.
This winter hasn't been too kind to us. Stay tuned to see what this week's weather has in store for you.
All that and more coming up on this Thursday morning edition of DITV News. Don't go anywhere. DITV News starts right now. Good morning and thank you for tuning in. I'm Shivansh Ahuja. Presidential candidate Andrew Yang stopped by the IMU yesterday for a town hall. His arrival attracted around 300 people, half of whom were students. Yang touched on many different issues such as gun violence, standardized testing, and the increasing cost of college education. The presidential candidate spoke about passing common sense gun laws and pushing back against the National Rifle Association. He believes that active shooter drills should be optional and that schools are unequipped to deal with students who are neurologically different, which can result in violence. Yang also believes that schools need to become more individualized and require less standardized testing. Lastly, the Democrat spoke about the rising cost of college tuition. He mentioned that the cost of college has gone up 250% over the last number of years and states that it is because the government is no longer responding to the people's needs. For more information on Yang, look for the print edition of the Daily Iowan on stands now. In June 2016, a public vote was held in the UK to determine if they wanted to leave the European Union. Those who wanted to leave the EU barely scored a victory at 52%. The United Kingdom will be officially leaving on January 31st. However, it is unclear what the relationship between the United Kingdom and the European Union will look like. The two parties have decided on an 11-month transition period in which the United Kingdom will continue to follow the EU's rules. During this period, both sides will be working on a new trade agreement, along with negotiating aspects such as law enforcement, aviation standards, access to fishing water, supplies to electricity and gas, and the licensing and regulation of medicine. The transition period will not be extended, even if a trade agreement is not worked out by the end. The European Commission commented that the timetable will be extremely difficult to work with. Well, this weather's looking pretty difficult to work with us too. For more on that, we're going to throw it to Grace.
Thanks, Shivansh. Don't forget to wear your winter coats today. It's looking like it's going to be a cold one. Right now, it's a chilly 22 degrees and cloudy, but later this evening, temperatures will rise to 26 degrees. Tomorrow, there will be a high of 34 and a low of 26, with snow showers throughout the day. Saturday will be sunny with a high of 34 and a low of 29. Things will start to really warm up on Sunday with a high of 40 and a low of 30 degrees. Finally, on Monday, there will be a high of 40 and a low of 27. It looks like things will be warming up a bit this week, but don't put your winter clothes away too soon.
Thanks, Grace. With the elections coming up, many students are finding ways to support their favorite candidates. Some are even donating money to their cause despite financial constraints. According to data from the Federal Election Commission, students made up $882,000 of disclosed donations, and students in Iowa make up about $8,000 of disclosed donations. University of Iowa student Cam Newton told the Daily Iowan that he has donated around $20 to the Andrew Yang campaign 3 separate times. Other students found that their budget is too thin to donate to their preferred candidate and have decided to get involved in other ways. Jordan Miller, a 4th-year student, says he spends about 10 to 15 hours a week volunteering for former Vice President Joe Biden's presidential campaign. For more information about student donors, check out the print edition of the Daily Iowan on stands now. Syllabus week at the university is over, and students are ready to get back to work. DITV News reporter Bailey Sheehan decided to find out how students were feeling about the new semester.
It's the start of a new semester, and it may not look like it, but the University of Iowa campus is buzzing with excitement. Students are looking forward to participating in a multitude of different activities and learning new things in their classes.
I'm on the University of Iowa mock trial team, and we have regionals in a couple weeks, so I'm really excited to prepare for that and hopefully kick butt at regionals.
I'm looking forward to the Susan Rice presentation that's coming up.
I'm looking forward to this semester to be really productive for me since it's my dissertation year. So I want to focus on my research, and also these days I'm teaching Intro to Marketing Strategy, especially for the honors students. So I want to give really helpful advice to my students.
Earlier this week, presidential candidates Elizabeth Warren, Andrew Yang, and former Vice President Joe Biden visited Iowa City. With all that election action, students are ready to caucus next week.
I think I'm going to caucus for Bernie.
Pete is who I'm thinking of caucusing for. It's between him and Bernie right now.
I'm looking forward to caucusing this coming week for Warren. I feel like she has a really good grasp on the economic situation.
Since returning to campus, students have dealt with ice, slush, and everything in between. But that doesn't faze them.
You know, it's Iowa, it's the Midwest, we're gonna get snow, so I prefer snow than like the terrible like negative 50-degree weather we had last semester.
Let's hope the cold stays away and that the Hawkeyes have a great semester.
Reporting from the University of Iowa, Bailey Chihan, Daily Iowan TV.
Both Iowa basketball teams have a road stand coming up. For more on that, we're going to throw it to Zach Lohman with sports.
That's right, Servant. The men's basketball team has been on a hot streak, and so has the women's team. I knew I enjoyed watching Iowa basketball, but apparently so does everyone across the country. In Iowa's victory over Wisconsin on Monday, the game set a record of being Big Ten Network for being the most watched basketball game this season, which was just over 500,000 viewers. And the game was also BTN's second most streamed basketball game on the Fox Sports app this season, clocking in around 1 million minutes. But tonight, the Iowa men's basketball team is going to have their hands full when they travel to College Park to take on the 15th-ranked Maryland Terrapins. Winning on the road has been seemed nearly impossible in the Big Ten, as the away teams are just 15-63. But the Hawkeyes are looking to extend their 5-game winning streak and will go down without a fight. The Hawks got a taste of the Terrapins earlier this year when they faced off in Carver on January 10th. Iowa was able to capture an upset over Maryland, and that one was really what got the Hawks noticed. Now ranked 18th and have 3 top 25 wins under the belt, the Hawks are looking to sweep this season's series, which could even propel them towards the top 10 of the Big Ten standings. The Hawks have been relying on Luka Garza all season long, but last time these teams matched up, Joe Wieskamp led the way with 26 points. Come back tomorrow for an update on how the game will end. Sticking with the same sport but a different city, the 18th-ranked Iowa women's team is getting geared up to take on the Penn State Lady Lions in Happy Valley. Now, unlike the men's game, the women should handle this game favorably. The Hawks have surprised many fans after starting the season 17-3 after the departure of Megan Gustafson. This is the first game with the jersey number 10 officially being retired. Things shouldn't change, however. Senior Kathleen Doyle stepped up to lead in many ways, helping the Hawks climb to the top of the Big Ten rankings. Penn State, however, is sitting last with a 1-8 conference record and have lost their last 2 against Iowa. They haven't made the tournament yet, but this team is showing a lot of people that the Elite 8 run they had last year was no hoax. Now getting off of the hardwood and onto the mats, and no, not the wrestling mats. The Iowa men's gymnastics team kicks off their season Carver debut on Saturday when they square up against Minnesota and the University of Illinois in Chicago. Last year, the Hawks had many great individual performances all season long, but can never seem to get over the hump as a team. With last year's leader in Jake Brutazon graduated and it's gone, it's time for guys like Stuart Brown, Evan Davis, and Bennett Hong to shine in the spotlight. Those 3 and the rest of the team will get their chance Saturday afternoon at 1 p.m. when the Hawks look to come out on top. Hawkeye Sports has been winning all season long, but tune in tomorrow or maybe a preview about the anticipated matchup against Penn State and Iowa. Shivansh, back to you.
The small town of Linwood, Kansas has been hit with brutal storms in the past. But now the new threatened town is a small pig named Dude. Dude is a potbelly pig owned by Bailey Parker, who also owns chickens, ducks, and a dog. The city of Linwood have filed a criminal complaint charging Parker with possessing a pig within the city limits, which could fine her along with 180 days in jail. The city is filing another complaint stating Dude is a livestock and not a pet. A court date is set for March 23rd after the city failed to win the first round of court. That's all we have on this Thursday morning edition of DITV News. Be sure to head over to thedailyiowan.com for all your latest news between Monday and Friday. If that isn't enough of the Daily Iowan for you, be sure to check out our print edition of the news on stands now. For DITV News, I'm Shivansh Ahuja. Have a great day, Iowa City.